Hello and welcome. Hi. Hey, John, how are you? Thanks for being here. Hmm, that's interesting. All right. Okay. Um, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you all here today. Can someone type in if you can hear me okay? Hi, John. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to turn off all distraction here. Hey, Michelle. Hi. Rob, how are you doing? Good, good. Yay. Oh my God, I'm excited. All right. Well, let's give the others a. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do is pull up something. I was gonna do something different today. Let me do that before I forget. All right. Good. And where did it go? Here we are. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yes, yes, yes. Oops, not yet. Aw, kind of gave away my position. All right, well, we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Rob, John, Michelle. Hey, this is awesome. So excited. And so welcome to this month's Soul Powered Training. And my name is Tess Vergara. I think all of you know me. Yes, yes. Let me see if there's anyone more. Okay. We have silent guests. Good. All right. So thank you all for being here and recognizing your light and recognizing the need to step into your light. And I want to do something different. So I'm going to play it. And do I have, okay, I'm going to have to play it right here and go to the lyrics. And I'm sorry, I don't know what is going on with the with the slide because it's not working. And Vanessa's kill me. But but anyway, here we go. I want to start up with a high energy song. I heard this song earlier and it just pumped me up. And all through the day, I was just pumped up and excited to do this with you all. And if you know the lyrics to Una Paloma Blanca, and I'm going to read the lyrics. It says, no, well, the part that I really like you to take away from it is no one can take away my freedom. All right. So let's do that. I'm going to make a mess of things, but this is okay. This is me. Take it or leave it. When the sun shines on the mountain and the night is on the run, it's a new day, it's a new way, and I fly up to the sun. I can feel the morning sunlight, I can smell the newborn hay, I can hear God's voices calling for my golden skylight. This is how I want you to feel every morning. I'm just a bird in the sky, una paloma blanca. Over the mountains I fly, no one can take my freedom away. Yeah, that's the part that I want you to hear right off the bat is no one can take your freedom away. How did you like that? I know it's a little messy there. I wish you could sing with me, but it's a song, full of energy, full of light, full of possibilities, right? Because we're stepping into our light. And that's our discussion today. We are not going to let anyone take our freedom away, right? No one can take your light away. And similarly, no one can take your power away without your permission. So welcome once again to October's free soul-powered leadership training. And to those who just joined, my name is Tess Vergara, soul-powered executive coach. And the topic today is through darkness to light. So to those who might not be familiar with my story, very quickly, I raised my children, 2 daughters, single-handedly without a dime from their father. So after an attempted kidnapping, after some, physical assault on my 2-year-old, this was some 20 years ago. My children were very young, ages 2 and newborn, right? We split up. I was stuck here in a foreign country. I was from Canada. All of a sudden, I found myself a single mom. I'm in a foreign country. I didn't have family and friends. I didn't have a job. I was taking care of the family back then. So when we split up, I was deportable. I couldn't move back to Canada immediately because then I would be the one charged with parental kidnapping. So I turned it all around. I was very independent, courageous, never complained to anyone, hardly asked for support. And I advanced in my career as a financial controller, as a financial director. It's all good, right? Until it all went dark. Depression hit me, followed by excruciating dark night of the soul. It debilitated me. I lost sense of hope, purpose, direction, and all that. I didn't want to be here anymore. So the confident, strong woman that I was, for the first time in her life, she felt powerless and out of control. It was so painful, I couldn't live with myself. And I really just wanted to crawl into bed, didn't want to wake up. I just wanted to die in my sleep. That's the truth of it. So fast forward to today, I'm here in front of you. I'm still here. I've broken through some challenging times. I've broken through the dark night of the soul. And I realized I needed to experience darkness so I might recognize light. I needed to experience all that pain and misery and soul anguish. So then I can recognize this need, right? This need to reconnect back to heaven. That's always been my personal goal, is to just experience heaven. And what I realized was I didn't have to die to experience heaven. I didn't have to die to see the light, and I didn't have to die, right, um to lose everything. I needed to experience great losses to know that I never really lost anything or lack anything. Hey, Julie, thank you for joining. You missed my song. So I went through all that. I went through the dark night of the soul so that I might be your guide, so you can also guide others in these challenging times through darkness to light. So we really need to hold hands together. It's it's huge, right? It's cosmic proportion. And so let's just take a moment to hold hands, to really feel each other's energy, and really feel this space with intention to be the light, to be the light. And it doesn't have to feel it doesn't have to feel terrifying. It doesn't have to feel like you're carrying the weight of the world. In fact, it's the other way around. When you actually step into your light, it feels so liberating. It feels so freeing. It feels so natural. It is who you are, right? So because it's our nature, it's our essence, it is our birthright. So I really want you to really pump it up, right? It's a new day. It's a new way. And really, really claim it that you are the light. You are the one that we have been waiting for. And so that is my intention, that we go through this collective trauma that we are experiencing right now. And this collective trauma is also bringing up deep-seated wounds, creating so much anguish and anger personally, and also, it's being projected, right? Being projected in the collective. And so no matter what, no matter how painful it feels, no matter how hopeless it feels or looks like in the outside world, remember that you are the light. You can go within and turn the light on. It reminds me of a quote by Rumi: if everything around you seems dark, look again. You might be the light. And that is so true. So the training, the training is for you if you're looking for light, for hope, for joy, for inspiration in your life today. If you are in a journey toward trusting and loving yourself more, if you are looking to break out of stress, of overthinking, of overwhelm, or the same old thing, right? Or even overworking, right? Overgiving can be so draining, and it can really spin us off into the dark too. So any negative emotion that you want to break free from, this is for you. This is for you. You're in the right place. Or maybe you're not in the dark right now. We're all, some of us are coaches here, right? So we are leaders in our own right. So maybe you are not in the dark right now, but there are people around us that's looking to us to really shine our light. And again, that's not a responsibility that has to weigh you down. This is stepping into your nature and liberating yourself and being the light. There's no heavy weight of obligation. Actually, it is your responsibility to yourself to be this light. Okay, so let's dive in. In this training, you will learn what keeps people trapped in darkness and how to break out of that cycle. We are going to activate through darkness and no longer feel helpless, hopeless, or powerless. We are going to discover what is required to sustain this true light, so that we are wearing it constantly, right? Right? We are so programmed to live in the dark, to live in an uncertainty, that being our true light feels foreign to us. But it's the reverse. This is our true light. This is our true essence. This is our true nature. So whatever is happening in the outside world, You are always sustaining your light, and actually you sustain it by being it, right? So what traps people in darkness and how to break out of that cycle? So that's our topic number one. And I don't have to tell you this, but I'm sure you are also witnessing and experiencing and getting frustrated, right? Because there's that world collective trauma going on right now, and we are being traumatized, we are being triggered, right? I don't need to recount to you just how awful and horrifying it is to experience and witness violence, oppression, and terrorism, not just at the local level, not just here in the US, but at the global level. It's like we are being pitted against each other. There's this whole agenda. And if you're an empath like me, you can feel the hate, the anger, the rage, the depression, the anxiety of the collective. And if you're unaware, and if you're out of touch with yourself, it's going to bring up all the places inside of you where there's darkness and separation from your own lights, your joy, your soul, right? And so that's why you're here. That's why you came here, through darkness into light. How can we move out of this darkness, this heaviness? So take a breath. If you tune into the chaos and just tune in without taking it on, right? Just observe with a distance. You can feel that there's enormous suffering. There's a lot of heartache. People are heartbroken and experiencing some kind of loss. And if you can feel that too, and share with me, what kind of loss have you experienced this year, right? Let's talk about this year. There's so many losses. Loss of freedom, loss of dreams, loss of businesses. Lots of businesses collapsed. Health, people are not as vital as before. Canceled trips, canceled plans, canceled get-together, canceled dance events, right, Julie? There's a rise in crimes, loss of life, loss of innocence. There's tremendous loss on so many levels. Unspeakable pain, right? In our health, relationships, career, business, social life, family, financially, in the environment. It's piling up. It's piling up, and it's too much. So there's also fear of death, and fear that life will never be the same, and it won't. We may have lost, but we also gained in places and things that opened up because we shifted focus, right? So what is happening is we are believing in the fear that we are going to lose something. But if you look at nature, there is always death and rebirth. Every act of creation, according to Pablo Picasso, every act of creation is first an act of destruction. So it's really a cycle. It's a pair. There's a beginning, there's an end, right? There's destruction and there's creation. And people seem to get stuck in the end, in the loss, in the destruction, in the past. And they fail to see the gift of the new beginning that comes after a destruction. So if we can train ourselves that on higher perspective, if we can look, from a helicopter view, that the loss actually paves way for new growth, and that we understand that this is the cycle of life, that there's potentially a gift if we dare to look underneath the pain, underneath the sorrow, then we can move out of darkness. Does that make sense? So many are alive, but as good as dead, because they've lost their life. They've lost their life. The life has lost meaning. And with this huge cosmic 2x4, nonstop, year 2020, right? Oh my God. Wherever we are dead inside, wherever we are separated from our own light, it's being triggered. Is it not? Is it not? Right? It's being triggered because we are separated from our true light. And it's coming up so we can heal. We can come together. We can put ourselves back together. Except what's happening and what's creating misery and suffering is we tend to run away from it. We cling to the past. And Michelle says, loss of business, but so much light and love and unbelievable transformation. Exactly. That's exactly it. And the irony is we have to die to live a full life. Isn't that interesting? We suffer a series of humiliation, a blow to the ego, in order for our light to be fully revealed. And unfortunately, when the going is good, we get complacent. We don't progress. We just get stuck in that. Stagnation is the very definition of hell, right? So when we stagnate, we die off. And so what is it that keeps us trapped in the dark? And what keeps us trapped in the dark is the lie. And the biggest lie ever perpetuated on earth is to condition humans to believe there is something out there in the external world that will complete us, that will make us whole, and that they will have to approve our worth and value. And that is a lie that has to die. It is this false sense of self based on a lie that has to die. So the false sense of self believes it is small, it is limited, it is separated from its true light. And that's what traps it in darkness forever until you choose something different, right? And so how do we break out of that darkness? How do we break out of that cycle of darkness? Oh, well, you've heard some of this already. Become aware of negative thoughts. Don't beat yourself up. These are things that we already know, right? In the self-help world, right? In the personal development. Avoid anything that will trigger stress. Change your language. Change your story. Have a healthy dialogue with yourself. Walk away from negative people, right? And positive thoughts, right? Reframe your thoughts. Center yourself, meditate, be mindful, learn to let go, all those things. But we're going to go deeper, right, John? We're going to go deeper. Loss, death, destruction brings about grief. And there's a collective grief right now that life will never be the same. That there's a loss in all that time and that will never be recovered. And we cannot sweep that grief, that level of grief under the rug. Because with that level of grief too is that sense of betrayal and abandonment. And what is happening is instead of honoring our grief, we shift blame, we point fingers. And we're seeing that everywhere right now. And so how do we break out of darkness? Honor your grief. Honor the sadness. Honor the icky feelings that is so hurtful or shameful or embarrassing, right? That you don't even want to admit it and that you just want to run away from it. It's time to honor and accept grief, the loss, the sadness. And if you look at this up, and I won't spend much time on it, there's 5 stages of grief, which is denial, anger, bargaining, and depression, and then acceptance. And that's the work of Swiss-American psychiatrist named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Okay, so the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we don't all grieve the same way. We don't all experience all 5 stages. I have a client who suffered tremendous trauma as a little child there's a loss of innocence, there's abuse, there's anger, there's definitely bargaining going on, right? Bargaining in that she is hanging on to that victim consciousness. I'm going to do this so that I will be a good girl, right? There's that bargaining, and there's depression. But the thing is, this is a lifelong habit that she's done. So there's depression, and she, before working with me, she couldn't come out of that deep depression. And so finally, through our work together, the acceptance finally happened, and then that acceptance opened her up like a flower. She bloomed. Okay, so there's things that happen in a trauma, right? And if we just sweep it under the rug, if we just push it down, push it down and bottle it up, that trapped emotion, because emotion is supposed to free, it's supposed to just pass through. But the thing is, when we do not process the trauma, the hurt, the pain, the grief, it gets stuck. The emotions get stuck. And so that becomes then habituated, that fear that something is going to happen, that fear of being traumatized. And the mind then has made it habitual to protect you from feeling that pain all over again. So I myself experienced this numbing, this avoidance, this coping mechanism, and I used workaholism to numb the pain, so that I don't have to face the icky feeling of abandonment, right? There was no abuse directed at me, but I saw abuse. I saw abuse, and the abuse, if I can name it, is neglect. So there are things that are unresolved, that kind of haunts us. And if we don't look at it, if we don't process it, it turns into negative behavior, such as workaholism, or in the case of my client, drug addiction, right? So we'd rather run away from our feelings than face it, than acknowledge it. And the running away, though, keeps it in perpetuity. It keeps that unresolved issue stuck. And then years and years and years, it becomes patterned. It becomes the identified way of being, and it becomes attached to the identity, to the personality. I hope I'm making sense. And then cumulatively, it turns into loneliness, into fear, into anger, and believing that is who we are. But that's the false sense of self. And that false sense of self is the one dying right now and wanting to break out of darkness. And so it is really important to feel your feelings. You can't heal what you don't feel. And not only that, that's just one pillar of it, is the emotion. You need to rewire the brain and really change how you're looking at things, how they're connected, recontextualizing the past, right? We got to train the brain to think from the highest perspective as possible, and not accept the limitations of the mind, and not accept the limitations of the past. So it's really important to rewire the brain, and then repattern the habits, and then reclaim your soul power. So activating the light through darkness, and no longer feeling helpless, hopeless, or powerless, that's the second point. And how do we do that? This is where it's important to allow our soul power in. This is what the distraction and darkness is for. It is forcing you to find your light. It is backing you into a corner so you can reclaim your power that has been locked up, that has been dormant inside in the dark. And what creates suffering is this resistance from our own light. Isn't that amazing? And so my client was explaining to me earlier that, when she's in this stage, she feels that she's split up into two people, that she's so conflicted inside. My client calls this the one part of her, the old behavior, and the other one longing for truth, the longing for fulfillment. And it's exhausting, she says. And before, with the coping mechanism, her habitual pattern is to grab a drink. Or for some, it would be a senseless relationship where you end up hurting yourself, right? Looking for a pattern or a relationship that will complete the unresolved emotion, if that makes sense. And so one of the ways that you can activate the light to be constantly turned on is through affirmation. I am the light, I am divine. Share with me what affirmations you're using. I have one in front of me here. It says, I am powerful beyond measure, right? So it reminds me who I really am, because sometimes, we forget. Like I said, we've been so programmed for so many years to default into the disempowering behavior, to the disempowering thought, that we forget we already are divine. We are already the light of the world. This is our true nature. So put some post-it ups like I have here, reminding you just how wonderful you are, that you're amazing, you're divine, you're divinity, right? And so what other ways can you activate your light so that it's constantly turned on? There's meditation, there's yoga, there's energy healing, using anchors like crystal or jewelry. I'm wearing a Tree of Life jewelry here. So, I can just touch it and I will remember that I am connected with life itself, right? And also hire yourself a coach. Hire someone who sees your highest potential. But make no mistake, right? I tell my clients this all the time. I am here as a guide. I'm not here to make the process, it just poof, it's gone. Earthing. Yeah, Julie, thank you. Yeah, so I'm here as your guide, but there is no such thing as spiritual bypass. You can buy all the sage, all the incense, all the essential oils in the world, but if you haven't given yourself permission to heal, you stay stuck. There's no opening up. There's no letting go. You have to give yourself permission to open up. You have to actually go through the transformation from darkness to light. And it's not a scary process if you have someone to hold your hand and guide you. And then the biggest mistake out there is, I can do this by myself. But what happens when I can do this by myself is you just keep going through the same pattern over and over again. Oh, I have a new boyfriend, but it's the same pattern of abuse and narcissism, right? Oh, I have a new job, but it's the same conditioning. It's the same mentality that had you lose your job the first time, or had you not save enough money in the bank. So the same patterns, that keeps repeating over and over again if you try to do it by yourself, right? So you have to face your darkness head on. You have to give yourself lots and lots of permission, lots and lots of forgiveness, and lots of reminders that who you already are is the light of the divine. You are the spark of divinity in flesh, right? You are the face of God. Remind yourself that every day, and wear jewelry and everything to anchor that feeling. Sing a song like I did in the beginning of this webinar, right? Because you are the alchemy waiting to happen. And there's a merge that happens between the false self or the ego and your true self, your soul, right? Eventually they merge. Eventually the ego stops resisting when it realizes, oh my God, it's so much easier if I just cooperate, right? But you have to take leadership in order to be able to do that, right? And not hide, not sweep the feelings under the rug. Okay. So what keeps people trapped in darkness, right? Is believing in the lie. It's hiding. It's the conditioning that you have to hide away from your future brilliant, radiant self. You don't have to hide anymore. That's your true self. And the reason people awaken, and this is a favorite quote of mine, the reason people awaken is because they have finally stopped agreeing to things that insult your soul. And I hope you're done being insulted right now. Oh my God, right? It's like, oh my God. You have to want it. You have to. And the thing, is sometimes we have to be in so much pain in order to break free. And I really think that process doesn't have to be that way anymore. Why go through so much pain? But that's what's happening right now. Giving yourself permission to heal. Yes, thank you. That's what's happening right now is we wait until we get hit on the head, until it's too painful before we decide to claim what it is that we wanted to make happen anyway. You are the alchemy waiting to happen. All right. So if you don't step into your light, it's like a huge disservice to yourself, because there is no peace of mind, there is no freedom, there's no fulfillment until and unless we step into that light, into our soul power, and live the old world of lack and limitation and false self, that illusion, right? The foundation of that is not there. There was no foundation from that false self other than fear. And when it's founded on fear, it's going to crumble. It's meant to crumble because it's not who you are. So I hope you're getting that. Really, our job here is to liberate our soul into full manifestation, into full beingness, and to bring our soul into our body, into the physical. And when you allow yourself to be the light that you are, you find yourself more awake, more excited, right? More excited to create, to co-create with God, to co-create with life, right? Life becomes an expression of you rather than a throw of the dice, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you're constantly just reacting to life. What if you are the alchemy waiting to happen? Breathe that in. So you are the spark of divinity. You are the light of God. Our soul is the light of God. So even if you leave this plane, right? A lot of people are afraid of death. It reminds me of like Wayne Dyer. He's gone, but his work, his legacy lives on in me, right? Where do you think I get all this material from, right? How did I got through the dark night of the soul? Through someone like Wayne Dyer, right? So many people. So don't be afraid of death. Don't be afraid of losing yourself. When you look at it from a higher perspective, your light is eternal, your light is pure. You're a spark of God, and we just change form, right? So that might fly in the face of your belief system. But for me, that is the one thing that helped me get through that darkness, that there's light, even in darkness, right? You find people like Wayne Dyer, you find something that you say that sparked someone's interest. Oh my God, I never heard that before. Thank you for saying that. So don't stress about it. You are the light. That's it. Just fully embrace it, right? And so what is it that is required to sustain this light? And first of all, I think you've already heard me say is be willing, right? I love Wayne Dyer. Oh yeah, I loved Wayne Dyer. You don't say loved. Thank you, John. True, because his spirit does live on, right? And as Rob typed there, giving yourself permission to heal. Yeah, so you have to be willing. You have to be willing to be the light in the world. And again, being the light of the world, it's not some big responsibility that you be the light of the world and you have to save others and rescue soul. It's not that. It's really just stepping into your true self and light up, right? No other work to be done. There's no rescuing here. But what you're doing is when you light up your soul, when you light up your holy fire, it's infectious. It's infectious. You're lighting up other people to look inside themselves. Oh my God, I want to be like Julie. I want to be like John. I want to be like Rob. I want to be like Michelle. They're infectious. Their energy is just so enlightening. I want to be the light of the world, right? And so one is be willing to make a choice to turn on your light. You have free will. God cannot make you do something. It's your free will. So use that free will for your highest good, right? Even God and the angels cannot make a choice for you. All right? And now be aware of the darkness. Don't run away from it. You got to feel it. And you can't heal what you don't feel. Do you like darkness? Just tune into it. Do you like it? Are you comfortable feeling the darkness? Of course it's not comfortable, right? Of course, our tendency is to run away from it. We always run away from what's uncomfortable. We wouldn't have this conversation if it's not uncomfortable. But what is the saying? On the other side of comfort is freedom, right? On the other side of discomfort is growth and success, right? So it would be a totally different discussion if we were already functioning from light consciousness. But the thing is, don't run away from it. If you run away from it, it becomes bigger. It becomes like you're getting haunted. You're being shadowed your whole life by darkness. When in fact, darkness is as natural as the light. Right? It's yin and yang, darkness and light. But the trick is, how do you be the light even though there's darkness? And how can you utilize that darkness so that it's feeding you, it's nurturing you? It's like the masculine and the feminine, right? There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. We're using all these energies to advance, to make manifest what it is that we want to do, we want to experience. And if that idea of being aware of darkness is something that, and I know, because this was a resistance on my case too, but if that's something that creating an anxiety, as you hear me say that, I'm here for you as your guide and companion as you walk through darkness into light. Okay? There's nothing to be afraid of. You are light. You are light. All right? And I would be thrilled if you give me the opportunity to serve you and hold your hand as you keep choosing to integrate the light and dark energies as one, merging the ego, allowing the ego to spiritual mature into your soul power. Okay? And you got to face your shadows. This is where people have resistance and would rather self-sabotage and run away than look at their shadows. So again, by having a guide, a coach like myself, to see your light, to see your highest potential, to raise your level of awareness and expand your perspective and consciousness, you won't have to find yourself constantly trapped in the shadows, and you are not constantly avoiding life by self-sabotaging, by running away, by escape mechanism. When you run away from it, you know on some level that you are cheating yourself of your destiny. You know on some level, and is there trust when you know that you are cheating yourself? So has to be trusting yourself. So turn on your light. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. You are the light of the world. Yeah. So when you keep turning, not necessarily against you, but running away from yourself, your highest possibility, there's that level of mistrust happening, and that allows self-doubt in, and that allows the self-sabotage in, that allows the harmful behavior in, and you don't even know it. You think you are just this limited false self walking around the planet when you could be more. And that knowing that you can be more, you know it. You know it's not something I'm making up, right? You know it. It's something that you are yearning inside of you. And so I want to share with you here what one of my clients said from a single session. And Sarah Pointer said, the shift that Tess ignited in me was extraordinary. I had so much resistance and knew she was taking me somewhere usually inaccessible to me that I had buried in deep shame and egoic protection. Through a powerful integration process, Tess helped me turn to embrace my mind for the first time. The reconnection and reintegration of my mind with my heart that followed led me beyond my human limitations to unveil my highest purpose in this life. Now I totally got my shift on. Isn't that amazing? And I want that for you too. I totally want that for you too. So number 5 is to function from wholeness. Function from wholeness rather than separatedness, right? So, I always say this: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Click that in as one pillar of light. So function from wholeness rather than separation. Connect your body, mind, heart, and spirit as one. No parts left behind. Ask yourself, tune in. What does your body need? What does your mind need? Right? What does your heart need? And just feel into that. What does your spirit need? And really, really nourish your soul, especially in these dark times where emotions are high, when there's disagreement everywhere. Oh my God. Honor how you're feeling, right? Honor how you're feeling. Just because this and that. No, honor. Be really present to yourself. Honor, accept. If you need sleep, sleep. If you need self-care, prioritize that, right? You can't light the world if your own light is extinguished. So get sunshine. Oh, pleasure. Please do not be so self-sacrificing that you forget pleasure. right? Really cultivate joy and pleasure. And pleasure is something that God, is like treated as dirty or sinful. No, pleasure, desire on a higher level, on a level that really nourishes your soul. So that's going to be your homework. What is pleasurable? What is joyful? What do I desire? Find that out and really cultivate that and really explore that so that your mouth is watering, right? And you feel it, and you feel your cells opening up with excitement and joy. Yeah, pleasure. Okay, nourish your soul, especially in dark times, by giving yourself permission to experience pleasure. And people say, it's just a carnal desire. No, please. When you upgrade your consciousness, you also upgrade everything that was judged bad or wrong or evil, right? We're raising our awareness. None of this. Nourish your soul. Really accept who you are. Honor your needs, right? And really advocate for yourself, okay? And that goes with tuning in with your inner guidance. Really, really get to know who yourself on a soul level. What do you stand for, right? What is it that gives you pleasure? What is it that creates joy in your life? Really tune in to your inner guidance. When we ignore our inner guidance, again, we lose trust in ourselves. And when we lose trust in ourselves, again, that cycle of darkness and chaos starts, getting in there, right? Confusion and chaos and darkness starts all over again. All right? So, tune in to yourself. Treat yourself as wholeness, right? Nourish yourself. We've explored what keeps people trapped in the dark. It's this false illusion that we are separate from our light, that we are separate from God, that we are separate from pure consciousness, right? That's a lie. And if you're still believing that, then the false self will disintegrate, which is a good thing. So don't fight it. Don't resist it, right? And really step into the more that's calling for you to become. We've explored how to activate the light that you are, right? To no longer feel helpless and hopeless and disempowered. We also went through what it is that's required to sustain your true light and soul-powered leadership. And yes, this is soul-powered leadership. You are leading yourself into more of your destiny, right? You have to lead yourself through this. You can have a coach, but if you're not taking self-leadership, it's not going to work out. It's this the being the light of the world is not a product of dependency. It's not a product of victim consciousness. Do you get that? Stepping into your own light is all about self-leadership. It's about self-actualization. So different. It's so different. The energy is so different. And if you have questions about that, I would love to hear them. Right? Remember that the external is not your source. It's not your source of happiness. It's not your source of love. It's not your source of joy. Right? You can ignite that in you. And if that's not the place where you're at right now, it's okay. It's an unlayering process. It's a process of unbecoming and finding really the light that you are, the joy that you are, right? That's where the pleasure is, to experience yourself in a whole new level, right? That you've never allowed yourself before, and that now you're giving yourself permission to explore more out of you, right? It's a lot of permission. It's a lots and lots and lots of permission to be who you really are. The totality of who you are. And again, that totality of who you are, it's the more you step into it, it's the more you become. It's an expansion. There's no there. It's infinity. The more you play with others, the more, oh my God, what can you create? It's infinity. The possibilities are endless. And it's amazing what you can do when you turn on your light. Again, all you have is already within you. All you have is already within you. It's not out there. It's right here. Right? And give yourself lots and lots of permission to be that light, that spark of creation. Right? You are the alchemy that's waiting to happen. And that's how that shows up. It's really up to you. So imagine a life where you are truly and fully unapologetically shining your light without nervous anxiety, without overwhelm, without guilt, without worry, without shame, blame, right? Without those lower negative emotions. And imagine yourself so open to receive love, to feel love, to give love without wanting to get. I'm going to give you this so you can love me back. No, that's a whole different, that's coming from the false self, right? That love is out there to get. But from this space of true divinity of who you really are, love is who you are. And all you're doing is giving yourself permission to express it. And that's the light that you are. So imagine, right? Imagine that you're fully receiving love, not just by people around you, but really this connection with God energy, with source consciousness, with higher power, with your higher self, wherever you allow yourself to be, whatever level of consciousness you give yourself permission to, right? So you have to allow it in order to receive it and be it. And what if you're no longer afraid to suck up negative energies, right? Oh my God. You know, what if it's possible to no longer feel victimized, even when there's a loss, even when there's an end of a life experience or an end of a stage, when there is it, because all that means is an up-leveling of consciousness, right? So imagine that you're clear on who you are, the light that you are. How would that feel like? What does that mean for you to literally wake up filled with joy, singing Una Paloma Blanca, right? Filled with joy and anticipation to play with life, to explore. Oh my God, what am I going to create today? What experience can I make out of this? You know, I have a meeting today, and what is it that I would leave them with? What energy do I want to play with? What if it's possible, rather than feeling like you don't have any direction, that you're in darkness, that you're in so much pain, that everything or everyone is about, is out to get you? What if that's no longer the case? And that's something that, you really need to heal some unresolved emotions. If you're not there yet, you really need to rewire the brain and see where there might be some misperception, right? And any habituated patterns of, drama, or picking up a fight. Oh, that can be just a habit, and that it's creating so much misery. But with the help of a coach, can change right away, right? So what I'm trying to say here is offer you an hour session of working with me for only $97. And that's a steal. In that 1 hour session, you're going to get crystal clear on where you want to go and what you can do with your light now that it's opened up and now that you've given it permission to really light up the world. Again, it's not something heavy. Your light is not something to burden you with. I would like you to really walk out of today feeling energized, feeling empowered that you are the light of the world. And if you do need to work with someone, let it be me. I would love, love, love to support you into creating this healing. And healing doesn't mean you're broken. Healing only means integrating the light and the dark, the feminine, the masculine, the ego, the soul, right? The heart and the mind, integrating that so that you don't feel broken, that you feel whole, that you can stand strong in your own light, co-creating with creation itself. And I hope you take advantage of that. Only $97 to work with me for an hour. And with that, do you have any questions? I would like to end this call with really giving you permission to be you. That's it. Just permission to be you, without the judgment, without the chatter of the mind, or am I doing the right thing, or this. Don't doubt yourself any longer. Be in the light, be fully in the light, own it, share it, be it, without apologies, right? Because your unique soul expression is dying to come out of you. All right. Amen. Thank you. Yeah, you are the light of the world. Don't you ever forget that. Write yourself lots of notes and really anchor that in. Really, really anchor that in. You can't heal what you don't feel. You know that, huh, Rob? We work on that all the time. This is good. This is good. Oh, I just love doing this webinars, you know. Thank you so much for being here. All right, if there's no question, thank you so much for being here. Go spread your light. Spread your light, don't look back. All right, everyone, have a beautiful day. God bless. Aw, thank you.